We are here in beautiful, fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada, USA. For the first time, Las Vegas will play host to the 361 World Men's Curling Championship as you look at the skyline of the entertainment capital of the world. The fountains of the Bellagio and the numerous hotels along the Strip. But we are here at the Orleans Arena for the start of the World Championship. And we start off with an outstanding game. Russia taking on Canada inside the Orleans Arena. Luke Coley joined with Hans Frauenlob, and it's a pleasure to bring you these live games coming from Las Vegas, Nevada. 8th time the U.S. has played host to the Worlds. Now it's time to meet the teams in our feature matchup. For Russia, their lead, Evgeny Klimov. The second, Artur Razabov. The third and vice skip, Sergei Glukov. And the skip in his second World Championship, Alexei Timofeev. They'll take on Team Canada, the reigning World Champions, lead Jeff Walker. Their second, Brett Gallant. Third, Mark Nichols. And the skip, Brad Gushu, who are trying to defend their title here. As usual, handshakes between the two teams preceding our feature game. We will get you all set up in the 13-team field this year. Participating teams, Canada, China, Germany, Italy, Japan, Korea, Netherlands, Norway, Russia, Scotland, Sweden, Switzerland, and the host, United States. So we are in session 1. Let's look at the game. Sweden, Niklas Edin takes on Germany's Alexander Baumann on sheet A. On sheet B, it's Netherlands, Jaap van Dorp taking on Korea's Kim Chang-min. On sheet C, China's Zhu Deja takes on Switzerland, Mark Pfister. And our feature game, Russia against Canada on sheet D. Bring in Hans now, and good afternoon. It's going to be a lot of fun this week.
How can you not have fun in Vegas, Luke? I mean, it's unbelievable. The world of curling, 20 years ago, if you would have said we're going to be holding a world championship in Las Vegas, people would have been shaking their heads. But here we are. It's going to be fantastic.
We get to start with the defending champions. They went unbeaten last year, continuing to try the long stretch of unbeaten games for Canadian sides. Both men and women, they've won a lot of games in a row, taking on a Russian team that finished 12th last year in their skip, Alexei Timofeev's first trip to the Worlds.
Yeah, and if you're Team Russia, the way you look at this game is, okay, if you're ever going to play the Canadians in the round robin, this is probably the game you want to get them. First game off the bat, everybody's looking around at the pools and the Strip and the Bellagio fountains. Maybe you can catch them a little bit off guard in that first game, so I'm sure Team Russia will be thinking exactly that. Get a good start, and you can catch them a little bit unawares, but Brad Gushu and his teammates, veterans, world champions, Olympic champions, and they'll know how to approach this tournament.
Well, the team's just getting the go-ahead, get ready, get the practice slides. They do the last stone draw shot before the game. So we look at the lovely Orleans Arena. It's hosted 3 curling events before. That was the Continental Cup of Curling. This is the first time a Worlds has come here.
All the curling events here have been very successful, Luke. You're exactly right, the Continental Cup. A lot of people were really scratching their heads when people said we want to bring a curling tournament to a resort in Las Vegas, but it was amazingly successful. The stone colors, the Russians will be playing the red stones, Canada will play the yellow stones. But the atmosphere, it's a great venue and great sight lines, and I think the fans here are going to have a wonderful week.
Yeah, and a lot of people, they can stay in the hotel and walk across, and the warm temperatures outside right into the arena here. If they don't, frozen ice.
If they don't get distracted by the pool on the way by, exactly right, Luke. It's a nice, handy commute for the players and the fans. It's going to be a fantastic week, I'm sure.
Well, we'll talk out throughout again. Evgeny Klimov will get things going. Was a member of this team last year. Finished 12th. 13-team field, so 12 games. If round robin begin now, Russia taking on Canada.
Not unexpectedly, a pretty conservative play by Timofeev first up, throwing it into the rings. And also, not surprisingly, Brad Gushu immediately saying, let's throw a corner guard.
Yeah, it does not surprise me. A very aggressive call, especially with that one just in the back of the 12-foot.
Yeah, it's not very threatening stuff.
Jeff Walker, the lead for Team Canada, 32 years old, two-time World Junior champ, along with the world title last year.
Okay, line's good now.
No. Just trying. I think we're good. Nice shot, Jeff.
Good one.
Can keep this stone short of the rings. Corner guard. Nicely played.
Of course, the for Rock Free Guard zone rule, you can't remove that guard that's out in front.
Делай вес. Чал дома 26. Самое начало. Да, 15-10. Давай. Поближе. Давай, ближе.
Team Russia will be very aware how dangerous this Gushu foursome is, and they'll be wanting to avoid dropping a big end early. And they threw very good pregame last stone draws, Luke, but Team Canada went them a little bit better to earn last stone advantage here in the first.
Line's good.
And we'll talk throughout, but those numbers are important as well because there's no tiebreaker draws. If it comes down to it, that'll be how it determines whether you make a playoff spot or not, possibly.
Yeah, the last stone pregame draws have become a very important part of the game. Determines who has last rock. Here's a nice draw around that corner guard, so Canada off to the races on offense. But you're right, it's also a secondary tiebreaker after head-to-head records for playoff spots, so it does mean a lot.
We'll quickly call in for the peel, not wanting to get into this one. Artur Razabov, 28-year-old second.
Sweep.
A little more protection of the free guard zone so they can run this guard.
Oh, straight past it, misses that one, leaves the guard.
It's the worst situation for the Russians where it's almost, but you don't make either. You're trying to peel this off, over curled, and you're hoping if that happens, you pick off the stone in the rings, but it blew by that one as well, so he leaves a corner guard. Canadian stone fully buried, so it's green light go for Brett Gallant.
Brett Gallant, 28-year-old, of Prince Edward Island, smallest province in Canada. Of course, a world silver medalist in the juniors back in 2009, but the world title last year. This team completely intact.
Have a look. T-line. Right on the T. Yep. A little past it. T or past it.
Yeah, the only disappointment for them this year, they've had another really excellent year, was not being the Olympic representative for Canada. Kevin Cooey's foursome represented Canada at the Pyeongchang Winter Olympics, but as you said, Luke, they are the defending world champions, and they're quite determined to go back-to-back.
Well, and last year they went undefeated. As we see, Razabov will try and hit roll, bring this a little closer to the center.
Waiting for this one to curl. Is it going to stay in the rings? It just does. Third shot. That Canadian stone behind the corner guard, locked in there. A two is brewing for Canada, and maybe more. That center guard. I'm sure Gushu will duck around that one as well later in the end.
Yeah, it's that cat and mouse. You want to freeze it now, just keep it away, and make your play at some point, a point later on in the end.
It's that confidence, Luke, that you've got enough game that you think even if your opponent goes there first, you're going to make a better play on a run back. So it's real confidence going to the wing now. Saying even if they go around the center, we'll make the run back anyways. We've got Mark Nichols.
Exactly his weapon that this team can use.
Nice stone there. Doesn't have the corner freeze, but it ducks around that Russian stone. Gets a little bit of cover just behind the tee line. Timofeyev wants to make a play on it. It does have some cover, though. You're going to have to be a little bit delicate with this one. Quarter buried.
It's actually one of those tricky shots, and the first stone of the game for Sergei Glukov, 25-year-old, new member to the team that wasn't with them last year at the World Championship. did play in 2014.
Klimov on this one immediately. I think it's going to clip the red stone. Yes, it does. We see the benefit of wrapping around that stone on the tee line. So now it's all systems go for Canada. Line 2. One of them perfectly buried. Gushu says it's buried so nicely we can get another one in there. And that's the call. This is how you set up a 4.
You like this?
Sure. I like it.
This is why they put those guards out in front. This is the positioning they want to get of the missed run back, the missed hit on that last one by Glukov.
4 to 6 feet more than Van Gogh. What do you think, Jeff?
Yeah, 6 feet.
Yeah, the experience of Brad Gushu and the confidence. They believe, and the track record backs it up, that every player on this team can make any shot at any time.
Mark Nichols, of course, long-time teammate
Wait, don't wait. It's good. Looks hard. Whoa.
with Brad, of course, has 2 world championships, won in 2011 along with last year when he was playing with Jeff Stoughton.
Whoa, Jeff's in.
Loading stone here from Nichols. Doesn't want to bump, wants to sit in front of his own stone, comes to rest. Well covered, and Canada's now line 3.
As we look at the rules of play, 6 ends minimum, 38 minutes of thinking time, 160-second timeout.
I was thinking 80. I was looking for
Interesting call here from Timofeyev. Going to hit the stone on the open side. This is basically conceding a 3.
Well, if he doesn't stick around, you could see Team Canada even wrap another one around that guard.
They could go around the center. This is real danger here for Team Russia. It's a really defensive play. As I said, even if he makes this shot, it's basically saying to Brad Gushu, I'm going to concede 3 points to you.
So the rollout, Canada lies 2. They'll keep things open right now, draw to the open side.
Yeah, I get 78
And in Skipstone's decision,
no less.
No left. I think
try the run back.
The second one slid to the back 8, right?
Canada knows they're in an excellent position here. You don't need to take any unnecessary gambles. You can play conservatively for the rest of the end and still have a pretty good chance to score 3, and that would be a fantastic start for them.
a little harder.
It's close.
Rocky!
Tee back 4.
Hey. Little different path than Brett's now at this point. Back 4. Rocky.
Tee back 4.
Well then, Jeff.
Tee back 4.
Whoa. Yep, right back here, guys. Yep, come on, Jeff. Hard, Brett. Good, nice spot.
When
Slides just past the tee line.
Yep.
What's in that spot where the thought of you're not going to freeze facing 3, you hit that one, roll out, you can see a freeze back, or you probably see Gushu play the hit for Team Canada.
As soon as Timofeyev decided to make the play on the stone in the wings, it's really locked him into playing out here on this side of the sheet. No chance to use the center guard, or if you do gamble and try to use the center guard, you're risking dropping 4.
Alexei Timofeyev played 3rd last year at the World Championship, now skipping at the first time after his 2 previous trips, playing in as lead, and then last year as the 3rd. Hits and sticks on the side of the rings.
Gushu immediately saying, we'll just trade the nose hits.
What kind of way do you throw
Quite
it,
content
Brad?
to score 3, thank you very much.
Just here.
Okay.
You guys like this?
If you were super aggressive, you could try to go around a guard here and try to set up a 4, but totally unnecessary. If you score 3 in the first, you are a very happy camper.
Probably what he just threw. Yeah, and it got a little bit of curl there. So.
Yeah.
You like this, Brett? Is that what you would think for ice?
I think it's max, but I think it's good if you throw it. I think it's good.
I like it.
Yellow stones belong to Canada.
Brad Gushu,
Good weight.
well decorated, Olympic gold,
Clean.
World Junior gold, 2 of them. Looking at a 2nd World Championship gold this year. And we'll get the hit right on the nose.
Shot, good weight. Shot, good
So
weight.
the only bailout hope here for
Little down, if
Alexei
anything.
Timofeyev is to make a 6-foot roll behind
Probably good
cover
down,
and
nice
hope
path.
beyond hope that Gushu can't pick it out.
Turn board is.
Thing is, even if he rolls back 8 foot, which is where he'll wind up to be behind cover. Still think Gushue will be able to make a play on it with backline weight and still get his 3.
Well, the last for the Russian skip.
It's a long roll. He's got some inside action.
Roll into the 4-foot, gets shot stone, but it is still wide open. And a chance to hit for 3 in the first end for Team Canada.
It's the payoff for good execution for Canada, not so good execution for Russia. Canada threw that corner guard on the first stone of the end. They've got 2 stones hidden perfectly behind it now, and a wide open hit for Brad Gushue.
I'd like it to be the same weight, but I think I need to throw
a field goal on the scoreboard early.
I think that's plenty.
Okay. On the land of American football. 3 points for
I
the
mind a
field
little
goal.
less. So I'm throwing it a little harder. Yeah.
Doesn't want to split the uprights. He wants to hit this one on the nose.
Definitely wants nose hit contact here.
So final stone here of this first end, and Brad Gushue, reigning world champion. Chance to score 3 early.
Clean's good. Clean. Clean. 9. Good in, boys.
Just like that, right on the nose. And 3 go up on the board for Canada. They strike big early here in their first game. They lead Russia 3-0 after 1.
Yeah, buddy. Right behind the sheet. I don't know if they can make an announcement maybe, or...
Играем против на 2 тайма. Да, вообще внутрь просто. Да.
Top 4.
Well, a 3-0 game to start off
You can sit in the hair, but I think it's
here, the first end of the first game. 3-6-1 World Men's Curling Championship. Jeff Walker will start things off, and I would imagine try to go top 4-foot.
Yeah, if the Russian plan was to catch the Canadians napping in the first round, well, that certainly didn't happen. The Canadians throw a 3 on the board right off the bat. The textbook play here for Brad Gushue.
No. Just leave it, Mark. Leave it.
Strategically, after you score a 3, the last thing you want to do is give your opponents a multiple point end. You're really happy to give them 1. So first play is into the rings for the Canadians.
They play a real solid defensive game as well. They'll score multiple points with the hammer and get forces without.
You win a lot of games that way, Luke.
They don't have to take the risks that some teams may need to feel they need to try and steal. Put the pressure on. You can get steals out of playing a strong defensive game.
Давай, ниже, нам же достанут под него все.
That's right.
Поднимайте, не надо ниже.
Sounds like a horrible cliche, but if you're executing better than the other team, it doesn't really matter whether you're on offense or defense. Good things are going to happen. Jeff Walker.
They got like 10 feet less.
That very nice
A little wider pass.
stone into the forefoot. Play another one down the center
Switch.
path.
Nice. Keep her going. Switch. Keep her moving. Needs a curl. Right. Keep her moving. You get it there and it's going to go
there. Weight's good.
Okay. Still needs a curl though. Hip, hip.
Well, you just want to
I like that one better.
line them up,
Yeah,
not want
first
to leave a little bit of stagger. They do leave a bit, but
Nice weight. So nice actually.
they do lie too early on.
Not split, so.
Yeah, 97.
Timofeyev asking Evgeny Klimov to hit the top stone and
Feet.
behind
Oh,
that.
left. Feet. Feet. До конца держать.
Lots of Canadian supporters here in Las Vegas made the trip down to support their team. Team USA not playing in this first draw. 13 member associations competing this year. Team USA will have their first action this evening.
Well, here's where that defense begins. Yeah, you make that first shot by Klimov, you stick around. Canada can hit, lie to, force you to play the offensive type shots, to play the taps and the rolls.
There's a very nice hit and roll there by Brenkeland. That's exactly right, Luke. It's
What's that?
88.
curling strategically. You're basically, it's a game of pressure, and you're trying to make your shots as straightforward as you can, and you're just trying to make your opponent's shots a little bit more difficult. You can make your opponent spend 2 rocks to get rid of 1. The end usually works out well for you.
О, легче, легче. Feet.
And the rocks that the Russians are having to deal with eventually is that Canadian stone in the 4-foot circle.
But a nice hit and roll. They get behind the guard,
Yeah, very nice.
and without hesitation, Gushu goes up. Let's peel the guard as we look at the Canadian coach, Jules Ochar. Take probably the whole end to list the amount of times he's been at international events between his time coaching Brad Gushu and Kevin Martin. It'll be kind of special for him later in the week. Kevin Martin's going to be inducted into the International Curling Hall of Fame.
It's a huge honor for Kevin and well deserved.
Okay, good sweep. Got it.
So the peel of that one.
Такой же вес. Агар, не нравится?
Kosriev, Russian coach.
Ролл. 0.
Do you find it interesting they play the hit and roll on this one early?
The corner guard's gone now, so
Легче.
it might be the only way you can score 2 is if you get a bit of separation and go old school Ken Watson curling and make the double takeout difficult, but it's gone a nose, so that strategy not going to work out for Russia. This is a makeable double takeout now for Brad Gushu.
Half a rock, even a little less makes it.
You could guard in that situation.
At that stage of the end, it's one that is a play made a number of times.
Well, the decision that you make if you're going to try to make that hit is you do need that roll, and you're banking on trading
Gotta go.
nose-hit takeouts for the rest of the end.
Hard, Brett.
And against a team with the quality of Brad Gushu, at some point you're going to leave them a double takeout. Mark Nichols now trying to make that double. Not quite.
It's kind of surprising. There's one you expect with the broom go down that he's going to make that 95% of the time.
We've gotten spoiled by so many times Mark Nichols is automatic on these kinds of shots. Just hit that one a little thick. Went across the top. Canadian stone is still shot. He's not real happy.
But it's an unfortunate break for Russia. He doesn't make the double, but now that stone is in a tough spot to get rid of at this one.
Yeah, and even if you do get rid of it, your stone is probably not on the ring, so it is in an awkward place.
Много пока веса. Контроль.
Brand new to curling, the stone has to be touching at least part of the circle. Eligible to count. Doesn't have to be completely in, just has to touch a piece of it. Wrap around this Canadian stone, just going to graze it.
Well, another crack at a double. You could even nose it if you wanted to.
Even rolling out, it's not the end of the
Broom
world.
direction being shown by Gushue. It does look like he's going to try to hit half of it on the inside. Roll to the center. He has to clip that Russian stone, just graze it to push it off the rings. So he doesn't have to hammer it.
I like this. You're saying, bro. Normal? Normal.
Unsteady on the delivery from Nichols, but clean release. Just misses contact for the double takeout, but rolls nicely to the center, right on the button, and Canada, we think, is lying too. Timofeyev's taking a look at it as well. I'll confidently say that Canada's lying too.
Well, Sergei Glukov trying to give Russia a chance to get two. They're going to need a little mistake in order to try and bring that other one into play.
They are. Needs to roll out. Some kind of a mistake, but there's a mistake from the Russians themselves, rolling off the rings.
You like this?
So rolling out now, chance to lie two for Team Canada.
Canada just cruising along here in the early going. They haven't had the pressure applied to them in any significant way yet. Early in the game, it's a 10-end game. Russia does not want to let the Canadians steal this end.
Same as draw the button, you think?
Yes.
Yeah, maybe it's a couple feet slower. Okay.
This one, Jess, it's pretty close.
Brad Gushue, for so long in Canadian curling circles, the young player with promise. We'll look at the split times on this. We'll time it between those two hog lines. That'll give us an idea of the pace of the ice. Generally looking in the 14.5 second range, hog to hog, if you're trying to get it to the tee line. Just see what our interval time gives us. Right in that neighborhood. Ice conditions excellent here in Las Vegas.
Yeah, the players were raving about it. Obviously, it's a building they've been in a few times before. So Canada lies 1-2.
But back to Gushue now at 37. Defending world champion. He's got an Olympic gold medal in his pocket, and he's now, I think, moved into that status in Canadian curling and in world curling as the veteran that is still very much on the top of his game.
Yeah, and he's retooled his lineup a few times, and I think he's found a good mix with Jeff Walker, Brett Gallant at the front end. Obviously, Mark Nichols stepping away. Played front end for Jeff Stoughton for a couple years, won a world title, came back, longtime teammates, and really sort of maybe rejuvenated. Brett could never get over that hurdle. He played in Canadian finals, Canadian championships, hadn't actually won that big game. Last year he won it in his home city. This year it was less pressure. He was going wearing the maple leaf as a defending champ in Canada. As we see Russia try to hit and rule, make this one hide a little bit.
Shot here. And it's a beauty. Perfect roll. Gets behind that Canadian stone, and Russia's lying one. That's a great shot. Still makeable. We'll take a look at our replay. Watch the roll here.
And there's a little, Mark Nichols was going to sweep it and actually almost caused a little slip in the house.
Glukov lost his footing a little bit there. As Mark starts to sweep, just a little bit of contact foot to foot.
But there looks like there's enough you could play straight back.
7/8, 3/4.
Yeah, you can run red onto red.
Solid effort for Alexei Timofeyev.
Yeah.
All he had to try and hide behind, and
it's a very good shot.
So leading 3-0, Brad Gushu's final shot.
Yeah, the danger stone for the Canadians is their own rock on the top of the 12-foot. If they ever clip that, Russia could score 3 right back. Safely by it. Oh,
Man.
very nice shot.
Never in doubt, gets rid of that one, and now Russia will try to blank the end and retain hammer.
Mark Nichols reading the line. He knows that that stone in the front of the rings is the dangerous rock, but never in doubt. Great shot. Made it look easy, but that's a tough shot going all the way out to the wing like that.
It's a spot you don't see very often, especially early in a game.
That's right.
Got to go around a stone, just biting top of the 12-foot. So Alexei Timofeev looking to blank this second end, pardon me. Their first end with the hammer. And will stay just out of the rings. So it'll remain a 3-0 Canadian lead here from the Orleans Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada, USA.
Please step on my back foot.
Oh, my family got them all. Yeah, I know. Where's your rock? Yeah. I guess. There you go.
Well, there's 2 skips here doing battle. We're on sheet D as we play the third end. 3-0. Canada leads. Russia with the hammer again as we start this one. Jeff Walker, as they did in the previous, I'm sure we'll put this one top of the 4-foot.
Textbook so far for Team Canada. 3-0 lead. But they did get that little bit of pressure on that final stone in the previous end. Timofeev made a great hit and roll. Brad Gushu had to make a pretty delicate double takeout around his own stone. Made it great though.
Top 4.
But it's the kind of thing that for Team Russia, who definitely would have come into this game knowing that they weren't the favorites. You take that as a positive, that last end. Said, well, you know, we had a chance, a very small chance, but put the Canadians under a bit of pressure, made them make a tough shot, and that's all you do. You just kind of build pressure.
Well, each shot, just try and put your stone in the right place. Get a nice tight corner guard, something you can use.
Evgeny Klimov trying to throw that corner guard. Andy from St. Petersburg. Nice shot.
Go hard right now.
Yeah, it's a little tighter line.
Line only.
Hit.
Back in.
Well, you try to bring another one in, you try and line it up, set up good angles.
Just let it come down. We're over curling.
It's pretty good now.
Okay, Jeff.
Well, keep you up to date all the other games. Look over sheet C, China and Switzerland, the second end. There is the Swiss skip this year, Mark Pfister, taking on Team China. Of course, this different team than the Peter de Cruz rink that went to the Olympic Winter Games. Won bronze there. Pfister trying to make the hit and stick, and there it is. So a single point for Switzerland to start that one. Well, on sheet B, it is Netherlands and Korea. Last of the second end after Netherlands took one in the first. It is Kim Chang-min, the Korean skip. Of course, this is the team that played the Olympic Winter Games, Pyeongchang. Hit and stick, they will get their one. Team Hans that went into the Olympics played fairly well, especially in the last half of the week. They got a little momentum, maybe definitely weren't talked about because of the success of the women's team for Korea at the Olympic Winter Games.
Yes, Kim Chang-min and his teammates are the current Pacific Asia champions, having won the Pacific Asia Championship in Arena, Australia.
Temperatures like these here in Las Vegas.
Yeah, that's right. We sort of bookended our season with the early season tournament in Australia, and now the World Men's in Las Vegas.
With that, we saw the hit of that stone by Russia in the top of the house, the peel of the corner guard. And here, not even going after the one in the rings. They're going to just peel it straight, not try and slash it, make the simple shot.
Sensible play here from Brad Gushu. Gets action on the rocks in the rings, though, just to add insult to injury. That's a
Said he wasn't going after it, and they end up making it the opposite way for Brett Gallant.
Make the thin peel double takeout. Here we go. Contact, redirect, kills the Russian stone, removes his own. And all of a sudden, much less clutter.
Does not take much to change one of these ends, and
yeah, no doubt. We talked about the big takeout weight capability of Mark Nichols. Well, Brett Gallant can throw them too. Stone is off the center line, though. Russia will try to stack it with a guard, trying to build some traffic that they can use.
I'm just moving these guards around, trying to see what they can do, get a different spot. Outturn peel.
And that Canadian stone's in a place it's high enough in the house that on the last shot, Timofeyev might decide to draw around it. He's feeling a bit frisky. He's going there right now by the looks of it.
Try and use anything in the rings, let's say. Very reminiscent start to their game they played at in the round robin last year. They played Canada in session 3 last year in Edmonton, and it was 11-3, a Canadian win over Russia. Canada only got 2 in the first, but then gave up a steal, got a steal of 4 in the second, and we're off to the races at that point. Not the looming potential of a steal of 4 right now in this third end, not a steal potential right now at all.
Russia's definitely contesting. That one, though, rubs on the Canadian stone and sits in the open. Wanted to get behind that rock. Wide open and available for Canada to remove.
I like the strategy. They're trying to use stones in the house. They're not just being content.
Yeah.
A lot of teams you could saw go up, oh, we'll just hit this. You know what, we'll try and set up next end.
Right. This Russian team knows as well as anybody the talent of this Canadian team. And so you're right, Luke. They're going to use every opportunity they get, no matter how small, to generate something.
And Mark Nichols with the nose hit.
See from the brush pat there from Timofeyev. He's going to try to go around it again. Now there's a bit of debate. If you're new to curling, you're thinking Canadian stones are in the rings. Why don't the Russians just hit them and knock them out? They're trying to get more than 1 point. And the only way you're going to get more than 1 point is if you can hide your stone somewhere and force your opponent into a miss. And that's what the Russians are trying to do here. This stone, though, has got a little bit of heat. It's going to slide deep. I'm not sure it's even going to stay in the rings.
Well, straight through. Got in a little, maybe a different spot, right down the center line. Slides for Glukov and goes right through.
Trouble brewing now for Russia. Canada will be pretty happy to force Russia to score a single point, but they'd love to do it by making Timofeyev look at 2 or 3 on his last shot. Those are the ways you get no-risk steals.
The first couple weeks they were like 8 feet slower, but then by the last it was maybe 4 feet slower and dropped a lot. So maybe 4 to 6 feet more than what I did last year. Yeah, I think so. I think 6, yeah, 4 to 6. We worked that a lot.
So just the other side of the 8-foot, just
I think 6 because I wanted to
lie 3.
Yeah, like
It looks like he's going to keep the action away from his own stones, and it's a good, sensible play. If you try to wrap it around your own, you leave it in the open, you leave Timofeyev something to freeze or to hit and roll. Just keep it away from traffic. Your mission here for Canada. If Russia scores 1, totally okay.
Line's good. Line's good.
If Russia scores 2, not so good.
Line's great. Go ahead. Go ahead, top 4, guys. Go ahead. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Well placed, the other side of the rings. Right on the tee line for Team Canada.
Sliding fractionally past the tee line, so Timofeyev having a look at a freeze.
Again, it's his first World Championship skipping. He played at the European Championship where they qualified for the Worlds last year. St. Gallen, Switzerland, finished 6th, so qualified here for the Worlds. And really, relatively new to the skipping position, and now showing.
I don't mind this call, though, Lou. Even if you missed the freeze, the 4-foot's still open. You've got last rock. You know in your heart that you're going to have to try and make a score for 1 anyways, but got a fraction of a chance here to generate a 2. If you don't make the shot great, and your opponent knocks you out and makes you look at 4, looking at 3, looking at 4, not that much different. So I like this call.
Well, Klimov, Razabov trying to drag this one down. Pretty good effort,
yeah,
just a little short.
1 more foot of weight, and that is an outstanding shot. Just left that little air gap now for Brad Gushu. He wanted to draw that stone directly on top of the Canadian rock, but he's left a little bit of a gap. Saying that, Gushu can't hit this one on the nose. He would jam the Russian stone and leave it in the rings. So it's a bit similar to his double takeout in the previous end. He's going to try and hit half the rock. You either pick it and leave your own stone there, or you hit 3/4 of it and leave your own stone sitting 3rd shot out there somewhere in the 12-foot.
Not real hard.
A lot of brush laid to this one for Brad Gushu.
Ooh,
Will tick that one in, and there's the miss.
Hello.
It's now a shot stone.
Wow. So the decision to try the freeze pays off for Timofeyev, and now it's going to be a draw for 2. A little extra weight there from Gushu, and it just tracked straight. Just tickles the Russian stone going by, nudges it into shot rock position. And Gushu's expression of puzzlement tells us everything we need to know about that shot.
And I don't think we saw any of those last year. If there was any, there were very few at the World Championship on their unbeaten run. Opportunity, score 2. Similar path, a little bit wider.
Really important that Alexei Timofeyev cashes this one in after getting a mistake. You really have to punish it. Needs a piece of the 4-foot. 14.7 on the split time earlier. This one is going to be a little bit higher. That's going to be light, and it is short.
There's a huge lost point, especially when you have a chance to get it to a 1-point game. This is a 2-point game. There's only 1 point given up by the Canadians after the missed shot by Russia.
Sorry, I said full in my first one, then it's actually a little more full in my second. Yeah. I thought I could just get away with letting it go. Like,
The way your first one came up, I knew you had a piece, so I figured.
So sort of, I actually thought it would come up a little more, but anyway, it's good. Looked bad, looked like a lot of force all day.
А он еще плюсанул, что ли, в это? Да, он щетки поставил собой. Но он выехал так, не это. Кинул.
Well, a 3 in the first. Canada strikes early, the blank second, and a single only for Russia back after they were unable to take advantage of a Canadian miss. At the very end by Brad Gushu. You don't get too many of those, and you need to capitalize. And in all realistic nature of that one, it was a draw to the forefoot. It's a shot every player in this field should be able to make.
Well, and even more disappointing for Alexei Timofeyev is he threw down that path, maybe a little bit rock with different path the shot prior, so he had a pretty good idea of what draw weight was. But you're right, Luke, if you're going to beat this Gushu team, you have to have your A game and you have to punish every single mistake and every half chance that comes your way. And Russia did not do that in the third end.
Centerline guard to start things off. Evgeny Klimov and Jeff Walker. Put that one right around, try and go top forefoot.
Now with a 2-point lead in the last rock, I would expect Brad Gushu and company to go full throttle offense, really put pressure on, try to get a 2 or a 3 and open up a big gap. The interesting thing in this end will be, does Timofeyev go with them? In other words, if Canada's going to play aggressive, does Russia play aggressive right back?
And how hard to go all out in a steal situation.
Yeah, we're in Vegas. It might be a bit early in the game to go all in.
Took us to the fourth end to get that.
That's true. We've been really disciplined in the entertainment references here. This one is just over curling, but sits in front of the Canadian stone on an angle. Gushu immediately saying, "Thank you very much. I will corner freeze that rock." Corner freeze, if you're new to our sport, a freeze shot is when you try to throw a stone directly in front of another one. Call it a corner freeze. And you can't get all the way to the face of it, and so you just sit on the corner of it. Call it a corner freeze. Doesn't really want to bump the Russian stone, just nudges it. Not a bad shot. Would have loved that 6 inches lighter.
Pushes it off and makes the angle a little more difficult.
Yeah, more difficult for Russia to use it to move the Canadian rock for sure. Timofeyev patting his brush in front of the Canadian stones. He said, okay, we'll stack them up. You're asking the question, is Timofeyev going to go with them? The answer, da.
Много линии. Пока контакт, пока очень широко. Контакт. Нет, фриз. Фриз.
Женя, стой, помогай, вес надо.
Делай вес.
Нету веса, пустой гард, 5-й.
Brusher's really working it to try and drag it into the rings, but this one is going to come up short.
So another guard leaves those two out in front. Gushu lies 1 for Team Canada.
Что, казалось, 3 все-таки есть?
Mind this key on the center one. Doing this.
So electing to peel the center one. I don't think trying to play the double peel. Leave the one that was just thrown. It'll guard their 2 yellow stones.
It's a good call.
Yep,
Hard.
yep.
Really hard.
Gotta go, guys.
Real hard.
Hard, you
The
gotta
guards
go.
represent a bit of danger for the Canadians. Well,
It's a couple for Brett Gallant that had just been a little bit off. The peel a couple ends ago actually touched the ones in the house.
yeah, that time, previous end he wanted some action on the stones in the rings. This time, definitely not. Wanted to hit this one thinner, catches it thick, and gets a piece of the Russian stone, driving it into his own rock. So that turns things around a little bit. Looks to me from the brush position that Timofeyev is asking Artur Razabov to make a play on the Canadian rock in the 8-foot circle.
Yeah, it surprised me a bit. Thought a guard might be a play as well.
Yeah, I agree, Luke.
This one over curling on their red. It won't be anywhere. Does get fortunate to chip off that one and stick in the rings, but shouldn't really be much of a factor back at the 12-foot.
Yeah, by making that play, he's opened the door right back up for the Canadians to make a hit and roll themselves and get a 2 or 3-point end set up. I agree with you, Luke. I think the guard might have been a better option on the previous shot.
I'd say you're playing an aggressive end and you go at it. If you're calling aggressive, you got to make those shots. But Brett Gallant, chance to a little bit of redemption after his miss on his first.
And Nichols on the inside sweep, trying to hold the line straighter. Just a bit of a nose hit. Catalyzed 2. Awkward angle, though, for the Russians to make a double takeout. Gallant looking at it. And that's the results of his work. 2 yellow stones belong to Canada. Timofeyev is going to play the stone at the back, the one in the red 4-foot circle. Sergei Glukov from Sochi, site of the 2014 Winter Olympic Games. It's
Makes
also
contact with Bose, but jams on the back, gets away with it. Leaves Canada lying 1. Couple corners to use.
got a little bit of action, but leaves the Canadian stone in play. Watch the action as he flips 2 stones, sets them in motion, jams the stone at the right as well. Fortunately for them, pulled the Canadian rock off the rings, but stone behind the tee line, 2 corner guards, a great situation for Canada now. They've got last rock here on the 4th. Mark Nichols make a nice come around draw rather. Earlier in the game, he's trying to do that again here.
Yep. T-line.
Safely by the guard. Try to keep it in front of the tee line if they can. It's going to slide fractionally deep.
I think open from the outside if needed.
Great line from Nichols, but 3 feet heavy.
Можно ровный большой. 0. Третий.
Interesting call again from Team Russia. Seem to be really, really worried about dropping big ends against the hammer instead of electing to draw in front of Russian stones, just playing the safe shot. making open hits on the easier to hit shot.
Hit rate and a little roll to the side. Will sit shot Stone, but
Canada won't mind that. Stone's behind that tee line. Good shot from Rukov. Russia is lying one, but Gushu's basically ignoring these stones. He's playing this as like another come around, just trying to draw around that yellow stone in the front left of our picture.
Yeah, 6. Four to 6.
Mark Nichols needs to make just a fractional adjustment, has to dial about 3 feet of weight off his last rock. Distance is in the hands of the sweepers once the player lets the rock go. They're making all the judgments about whether to sweep or not. They can affect the distance by as much as 6 feet over the course of a rock. So sweeping is critical in this game. Good weight. Not quite hidden though. I think Luke's still available for Timofeyev.
well, we've seen how much it curls. They got by with lots of room on that guard. It's accessible. You might even be able to play quiet and just touch that other one to lie too.
He definitely can.
Well, let's keep you up to date. Sweden and Germany over on sheet A. Sweden leads 1-0. Blank second, and Alexander Baumann, his final shot in the third end, going out real wide. This is on the other side of the 4 sheets.
Look how many stones are on that center line. This is absolutely massively guarded.
Has to throw perfect weight and have it curl to catch the 4-foot and get enough. They need about half into the 4-foot, and they won't get it there. It was starting to curl. Throw a couple more feet weight, and it's a deuce instead. It's a 1-1 game after 3. Meanwhile, China, Switzerland. As you see, Switzerland line 3. Looks like there's a chance here to make the double. Drew Deja.
Or do you want to let him try that? Same spot's good. And if it curls the next
Chinese team trying to bring the other red stone into play and score a deuce.
Yeah, you did. I think from the same spot.
And they'll hit, make the top double. Will they move it far enough? The back one, they don't. And it's a steal of 1, fractionally off.
So close.
Means a steal and a 2-0 Swiss lead after 3.
They're on the button speed. Maybe even a little better. Third one down now. Like it's just top floor. Yeah.
Brad Gushu, after that miss in the previous end, I'm sure thinking to himself, I'm going to make 2 good ones here and get a pair on the board.
It is Canada that lies 1 right now. Gushu trying to draw in lie 2 after Timofeyev unable to stick the shooter for shot Stone.
Needs a good chunk of the 8-foot for second shot. I'm not sure. I think that might have just overcurled. I think the Russian stone in the back of the 8-foot is second shot.
It definitely looks like it is second. Can you come down to your own? Do anything? How do you now play it to try and avoid?
Well, the danger for Russia is if you put it in a spot and you leave it open, you give Canada a double takeout to score 3. I'm not so sure you don't think about throwing a freeze on the stone at the top of the 8-foot. Just sit on an angle in front of that Canadian stone. Not sure I'd want to move it. The risk for Timofeyev, if he's a little bit heavy, sits in that red 4-foot circle, it's a really straightforward double takeout for Gushu to score 3. So if you're going to play down this path, you had better get a little bit of cover behind that corner guard. And there's that corner guard in the front left of our picture.
Well, it was Alexei Timofeyev who missed the draw for a second point last end. Gives Canada the hammer back.
Контроль веса, линия норма. Да, Тип.
Trying to get in.
Только не
Nice shot, Stone.
Yeah. He's bringing it right into the ring. He's going to try and wrap around that Canadian rock in the 8-foot. Brave play. If you ever tick it, you're in big trouble. Nice shot.
Oh, very nice. Only thing now, with it, the little bit of separation, can you play the outside yellow to the red?
It'll be interesting. We can see from the broom position that Brad Gushu thinks so. And we see the Russian sweepers doing a very nice job of weight judgment.
Had to wait on line, but need to go a little bit more for weight, and then this isn't there.
Boy, oh boy, you cannot see a lot of that rock.
What do you want to throw here?
No, I like here.
Okay.
But it does look like it's going to be the play.
Doesn't have to catch much of this to make that red one go away and score your 2.
He's going to have to come mighty close to that corner guard to make this shot, though. It was the intern that he threw in the last end that whistled by and gave the Russians a steal. That might be in the back of his mind.
Last Stone here of the 4th end for Brad Gushu. 2006, pardon me, Olympic gold medalist.
Not letting a brush to it, Luke.
Catch a piece of it, chip it over, just like that. There's the deuce.
Nice shot.
For Canada, score multiple points again. Just deciding. But it is a deuce, and Canada now a 4-point lead as we're through 4 ends of play from Las Vegas, Nevada, USA.
Did he not slide it to his first, or just?
Видишь, у нас все накрыто точно, у нас выхода нету, только за краем, за гордом играть боковым. Да, ну ошибок очень много. Но мы сами сделали два гарда. Ну да.
Did that slide a little further than you thought? His first time?
Well, a 5-1 game. Canada gets another multiple score, and we are underway for the 5th end. Jeff Walker to go top 4-foot.
You want to bite button or no? Go for it, yeah, bite button. Yep. Looks a little light. Oh, Brett's in.
Very nice shot by Gushu on that last stone in the previous end, Luke, to cash in a pair. Canada now with a comfortable lead.
Yeah, you knew once they got by the guard that they just had to catch any of that one. They were going to be in a good position to get that 2. It's just how small of room, small margin for error that Russia had with their final shot. They couldn't be that. Had to be frozen. They couldn't leave it high. They were going to leave options for Canada either way. And that's the problem sometimes when you're playing behind a corner guard without the hammer.
Russia now setting their corner guard.
White gate's good, yeah.
Well, that's a pretty good spot. That's where you want to put that, Hunts?
Yeah, that's if you're going to set a corner guard, that's a great spot for it. Wide enough.
Pretty good.
Keep it away from the center line, but you're still giving yourself a path into the 4-foot.
White gate, bud.
Good location.
Can't hurt it. It's good. Needs a curl if anything. Yep. Hard as you can on this line. Needs a curl. Hard, Brett. Go, Brett. Hard, Brett. Right till it stops. Good shot, Chip. Nice shot.
Oh, a great lineup of those stones. They don't
Sorry, I didn't mean to touch
stagger.
the back.
Russia now desperately needs to score multiple points. That extra point even bigger now.
Yeah. Earlier in the match, we said it was maybe a bit premature for Russia to go all in, but certainly a situation now where your risk-o-meter has to go a little bit higher. Really, in curling games, Luke, the situation changes when the mathematics of basic strategy, and basic strategy is score 2 when you've got last rock and force your opponent to take one when you don't. Well, when the mathematics of basic strategy don't get you to the finish line ahead, then you have to try something riskier and different.
One's good for now.
Well, just trying to size up if a double peels there.
Hard. Really hard.
You wouldn't bet against a guy like Brett Gallant going coast to coast across the house, but this one is just going to sit on the center line.
Well, Canada gets the break there because it guards their 2 stones.
Yes, it does.
Soft or just tight?
It wasn't where they wanted to hit it. They were trying to play the straight peel.
This is always an option, and a good last-minute line read there by Gushu, recognizing that the double clear was never going to happen, so we might as well just roll the thing in front of our own rock. See the 3 Canadian stones lined up down the center line. Razabov will draw around the pile.
Линия супер. Вес только, линия супер.
They like the line.
Линия супер, вес внимательно. Линия свич. Давай.
Really just diving, and I thought they'd get by, but you see how much it's curling. That's a perfectly corner frozen, even after rubbing.
Yeah, that's right. Big finish.
You're on a while.
You want it even or just pass that one? Or I think just pass or even is good too. Okay.
Gushu electing a guard here. Even though the Russian stone is corner frozen against his. It's a situation where you're still thinking force and you're still thinking steel. But if the worst happens and you happen to drop it 2, not awful.
Over and off now. Over and off. Over and off. We're over. Yep. Yep. Whoa. Okay.
Well, as that one comes to rest, we'll look in. Chance here for Sweden and Niklas Edin, the Olympic silver medalist. Chance to get 2. Has the hit, has to avoid the jam though. Chance to roll it in. Of course, 2-time world champion. Lost the final last year too, Brad Gushu.
Definitely one of the tournament favorites, but this one looks a little narrow.
Jams and will get away with it. That red in the back comes in as the counter because they do jam. And Sweden gets 1 to the disappointment of Sweden. While China, Zhu Deja, the Chinese team, chance here to get on the board. After giving up a steal in the 3rd. The last stone chance to take the hit. Oh, just a light clean against 2, and it's the single point for China there on the board. 2-1 after 4 ends of play.
Good force there for the Swiss. Get the hammer back up 2-1.
Yeah, that Swiss team will
you want to throw like here?
be right. I think they'll be right there in the mix. They've been to a couple Worlds. The last one they're at, they lost their last 5 games after starting strong. Start 5-1, they finish 5-6.
2/3, 3/4.
I agree. I think they'll be a team in the mix this week.
Of course, the top 6 will make the playoffs this year. We just saw it for the first time at the Ford World Women's Curling Championship. 6 teams making the playoffs. Top 2 will go straight to the semis.
Nichols trying to run his own stone back on the Russian stone and picking it off. Great shot.
Well, those shots just look very simple.
Yeah, not an easy shot. It under curls a bit. You jam the Russian stone on your own shot. Nichols picks it perfectly. Loses his own in the process, but that was always going to happen. A look from above.
Yeah, just rolls it away. To line 3.
Canada in a nice situation here.
Probably not as clean as they would have wanted to play this end, but the first peel by Brett Gallant ended up rolling to the center.
Glukov needs to stick around. He's done this a couple of times in the game, making half hits and rolling out of shot position. This one's going to stay in the rings, but in second shot position. Canadian stone on the right of our picture. Yellow stone still closest to the middle. We call that shot rock and curling. The way the guards are staggered.
Yeah, I think just 8 foot's more than enough, Brett.
Nice situation for Canada. They can draw around those 2 stones on the right of our picture.
Same weight as what I threw over here, hey?
Yeah.
Lie 2 under cover. You're right, Luke. 6 teams will make the playoffs here at the 361 World Men's Curling Championship. Top 2 teams after the 12-game round robin go directly to the semifinal. And the 3rd-ranked team plays the 6th-ranked team, and the 4th-ranked team play the 5th-ranked team in the qualifying games. Winners of those games go to the semis.
Biting T-line, sure.
What's back 4, back 8?
No, it's picking here a little.
This Canadian team, one of the pre-tournament favorites, defending champions. And they're making their intentions well known here in the first round, Luke.
Well, they want to try and... It's a long week that you ask them, they won't say probably much about it, but to match what happened at the... in North Bay, Ontario, Canada. Canada goes unbeaten to win the title.
Yeah.
They did it. Both teams for Canada did it at the men's and women's last year. Rachel Homan and this Brad Gushu team. They'd love to do it again, but whether they had a loss or 2 and still win the title, I don't think it would matter.
Exactly. You don't get extra credit for going unbeaten. You just want to get yourself into the playoffs.
And one of those
Ideally
top
into one
2
of those
spots.
top 2 slots. Exactly right.
So a little deep for Mark Nichols. A bit of an out now for Russia.
Doesn't want to bounce off the Canadian stone, wants to sit right in front of it. Close to great again, just 6 inches heavy. Leaving a little gap between the stones, but a good angle for Russia.
Shrink his rings at this point. He almost has to come in because then we can plug the hole.
Just freeze, don't you?
What's that?
Just freeze.
I think so, yeah, in the face. Then he probably goes here, then we just cap the hole. As long as he doesn't, he may end up having that for 3, but I don't know if there's much else we could do, so.
The discussion there was, how much do we think we can get our stone to curl? Can we freeze that stone?
Plate in center line.
Then he comes around it.
Wouldn't be that easy to get around, but yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I think it would.
Yeah, it probably would be easy to get around.
Like this? Street speeds?
Top 8, yeah. Same weight as last end, okay?
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
just
speed's
pass
the
a little
same.
slower?
Speed's the same here.
Yeah, same speed as here.
Well, just conferring weight, same as last end.
We heard some Brad say top 8. He wants the stone to stop on the top of that white 8-foot circle.
Yep. Hard fly. Yep, fly. Weight's pretty close. Top 8, top 12. Hard fly.
Have to get by that center guard first.
Top 8, hard.
Oh, it starts to dive now.
Top 8. Whoa,
This one
stop,
well
stop.
over curling. Goes top 8 foot, but
It's the weight that he wanted, but you're right, Luke. Just fractionally over curled. Wanted to block the path to the Russian shot.
На самом деле, чуть-чуть контакт как ты сделаешь. Как ты сделаешь. Окей. Чтобы он вылез сильно тоже не идет.
Russia with last rock here on the 5th. They would love to score a pair here and go into the midpoint of the game
Чуть-чуть, как Серега.
on a positive.
Сколько у него было? Короткий 60, ну прилично.
2 stones to come for Team Russia. This is the first
Ну
skip
не
rock.
прям пипец, ну хуже среднего, Лёв. Чуть хуже среднего.
this isn't an easy shot as well. They're trying to just set up a good angle, can't afford to bounce, you leave it double. Got to be precise, especially trying to come back from a 5-1 deficit.
Бэклайн, бэк плюс.
He can afford to push his stone a fraction. The key thing about is contact. Where's the contact point coming? Cannot feather that stone just delivered by Gushu. They're by it.
Well, tap, make the bounce.
Бэклайн.
Leave themselves lying 2, but I think they actually made it an easier shot now for Gushu. You can make the play on the Russian stone. You're maybe going to concede 2 this way, but you're not going to drop a 3. Other option on that stone would have been to play it fractionally lighter, same path, and just leave the Canadian stone locking in behind.
I get as close to the nose. We got to watch. We can't roll too far here because you might have the in off for 3 then.
Got back 12, back line?
I think a back line because we got to move 2 rocks.
Yep.
Got to get this one at least touching the 12 foot, the back one, right? So probably even just through.
Yeah.
Like that ice?
So no roll off is what
Yeah.
Team Canada want. Get to the nose, basically the same shot Russia was just playing. Move this one back to lie, 2nd and 3rd.
Whoa! Through. Whoa! Just to the hack.
Yeah.
No.
Hack weight.
No.
Coming down a little.
No.
Still through the
We're saying
hack.
hack weight. Brad Gushu and the hack said I want to throw backline weight. Fractionally heavier than they wanted, but it's starting to make a move now.
Shooter! Shooter!
Hard mark.
Now they move it back to lie 2nd and 3rd. But it is a nose hit, I think. It's for 2.
So?
There's a shot for 2 here, and it's a question of whether he's going to play the hit or if he's just going to play the draw.
Play the draw. Do you have to roll? You can probably nose that yellow.
Nose is the hit's the easier shot for the 2. Drawing, you don't have too much area to roll to. Stamafia is looking at a pinball shot for 3 here somehow. That would be brave in the extreme.
Well, you said at some point they got to take some risk. I don't know if going for that is the risk you want to take.
You get a 2 here, you're right back in the game. If you throw it crazy hard trying to make a pinball shot to score a 3 and you wind up getting a 1 or something, that would be a bad thing. Get your 2, go to the break, 2 down. You're right in the game.
Гор плюс контрол. Контрол.
Нет, 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 нет.
Well, final stone here.
Control.
I'd say Team Lviv needs to get the nose or inside.
Exactly. Inside's okay. Outside, not so much.
And we'll use every millimeter they need. And we'll get their 2s, so they cut the lead in half. Halfway through our feature game, Canada 5, Russia 3.
Забыл. Где мой этот слайдер?
It might be a cutter now. It looked like a tight line to me.
We're trying to find out for sure.
What did I say?
No, I didn't say nothing, but just be careful. What's that? Like, don't be, like, cause the people with these, yeah, so that's so the people with the things can hear you between ends, so just, you know.
Okay. Wow.
Or coverage.
Or take it off. If they're not gonna do it, then I'm take it off.
Well,
first end. Canada with last rock. It's an open hit for Canadian skip Brad Gushu to score 3. Right on the nose, Canada off to a fantastic start. 3-0 after 1. Lots of rocks in play in the fourth end. A difficult but makeable shot for Brad Gushu. Has to get around a corner guard to make an angle tap. And makes it perfectly. Canada scores 2. Leading it 5-1 after 4. In the fifth end, last stone for Alexei Timofeyev. Chance to score 2 here and get back in the game. Cannot roll out of the 8-foot, rolls a little to the outside, but hangs on. Russia scores 2, and it's 5-3 for Canada after 5.
Well, Netherlands, Korea keep you up to date. 2-2. Looks like Korea lies 1 there. Yabandorp at last year at the World Championship. Trying to draw and get a single point. Take a slight advantage into the fifth end break there.
This is a team, Luke, that's worked really hard on their game and steadily improving over the years.
Really worked hard, got the single point there. So a 3-2 game over on sheet B. As we look at the other scores, Sweden, Germany all tied up in the heading into 6. Sweden with the hammer 2-2. As you saw, Netherlands 3-2 lead over Korea. A 2-1 Swiss lead over China, playing the 6th end. And Canada leads Russia 5-3 in our feature game on sheet D.
More positive spirit in the Russian camp after that pair, Luke.
Well, here's a look at the numbers, and they sort of tell the tale. Canada's the hammer, a 2-point lead, 5-3. Advantage, overall percentage, 89-76. Draw percentage, 90-75. And 88-76 in hit percentage.
And no stolen points in the game so far. So the story of the game, what you do with the hammer.
So the second half of our feature game, we are on sheet D, Russia and Canada. Luke Coley, Hans Frauenlaub, as we look at percentages. 90% Evgeny Klimov.
This is a big end for Team Russia after scoring a pair in the 5th to get back in the game. Really want to force the Canadians to 1 here. Now we're back in the situation where basic strategy curling can win you the game. Score 2 with, force 1 without. So this is a situation where Canada has last rock. Russia wants to force them to take a single point.
It's a little hard. That's what I thought too. Weight's good. Still there. Weight's perfect.
If the scores are tied after 10 ends, we will play an extra end to decide a winner.
Not right in, top of the 4-foot. Again, the 2-point game. Canada's going to try and score multiple points. Klimov at 90%. Jeff Walker 98%. Great numbers for both leads.
Хорошая линия. Внимательно вес. Внимательно вес, как будто линии больше. Смотри, сейчас наедат. Нет.
Yeah, very good looking ice conditions here in Las Vegas. This arena has previously hosted an ice hockey team. It is a permanent ice making capability that they have in the Orleans arena. So the ice conditions very good. It's not a temporary ice pad. Jeff Walker 98% for the game so far.
Right to it.
Well, a lot of events here at this venue connected to the hotel. The Orleans Hotel and Casino, the Orleans Arena here. Yeah, line up these stones.
Starting to look like a mixed doubles end. Freeze to freeze to freeze.
Еще можно один.
Это как Женя, дай счет. Поменьше, Лёх, поставь чуть.
Yes, the players have been looking forward to coming here to compete. The fans certainly have been looking forward to coming here to enjoy a World Championship in a place like Las Vegas.
So we see Arthur Razabov at 73%.
Нельзя контакт, широко.
Вес сам.
Вес сам до конца.
Нет.
Сам сзади надоел.
Сам.
Наверное, желаем.
If you're going to win curling games at this level of competition,
Я даже не знаю уже, что играем. Это ни туда, ни
your
сюда.
team shooting percentage really needs to be in the 80+ range to keep you competitive. Doesn't mean you can't win games if your team shooting percentage isn't in the 80+ range, but it's usually the standard. If you're wondering how the percentages are calculated, there's a team of statisticians watching every shot. They rate the shot on a scale of 0 to 4, 0 being total miss and 4 being perfect make.
Well, Brett Glant at 88%, so better than the 3 out of 4, but not quite a 4 out of 4 on every shot. Peel it off the side one, that'll definitely help. Kicks that one out to the side. The main objective was get rid of the centerline guard.
That's right. Canada, after dropping that pair in the 5th, will be thinking just score. As long as that center guard was there, there was some risk of a steal. Gallant got rid of the guard and opens up. Razabov. Trying to put it back.
Well, they like where their stone's at, so they don't have to make a move too early. Just waste some stones.
No, that's right. That freeze by Klimov really setting this one up for Russia. The red stone in the rings is the danger rock for Brad Gushue. Looking for a little action on that stone in the wings as well. Against right onto the nose of it. Leaves the Russian stone sitting in the 8-foot. Question now for Alexei Timofeyev. How long can you be patient? Anytime you make a play on that front stone, you're going to be shot rock. You're going to push yellow onto red, and now Glukov's going to come down for a chat. You can pull the trigger 1 or 2 shots too early.
Двойной есть, на самом деле, но красный цепляет желтый по-любому. Чего? Сюда не бьет? Можно еще гард, я говорю. Да, можно. А потом бить. Только поближе гард. Да, вот так. Шел дома, да, 26. Мне так больше нравится, чем сразу
Each team still has a timeout.
Только поближе, не 24.
I think they've settled on the guard, Luke, and I think that's a better call than making a play on the yellow, red, yellow right now.
Пробьют дабл, то мы сами будем.
Yeah, I think it's still, there's still 8 rocks left in the end.
At some point, you're going to have to move the Canadian rock in the forefoot, but not yet. The minute you move those stones, you unlock the protection of the back rock. So if you go yellow, red, yellow now, all of a sudden the red rock is the stone at the back of the train.
Хорошая линия.
Полкамня можно.
Отличная линия.
Сам шестой начало уже можешь.
Скорее всего, на фриз поход. Нет,
Начало. Начало полностью дом. Садится полкамня.
Можно полкамня?
Полностью доедет.
Не очень.
The guard ends up coming into the top of the 12-foot.
Interesting angle, though.
Yeah, you could peel it out. You could try and go off the side one, but actually off the side, you could make that double.
Yeah, good things could happen for you if you're Canada, and bad things could happen too.
Well, you play the peel and you make sure of that, and if you catch the side one, it's a bonus.
I think what we can say confidently is it's not going to look the same in a minute. Exactly how it's going to look, not sure yet. And this one.
Well, now they're changing it to catch the side one. They got it out a little bit, I think, and not going to come back with that weight.
No, definitely doesn't look the same. Russia now lying one. Nichols. Well, not quite what we were looking for. Nowhere near the top stone if that's what they were playing. I'm not sure that they were. I think they might have been making a play on this stone deliberately, but net result, Russia's lying one.
Смотри, если так поставить, будет хорошо. Через этот будет у него сюда идти.
Даже если шире. Ну, в смысле, шире линии. Чтобы он колодка не доставал его.
Да, мне нравится гард. А тебе?
Мне, в принципе, нравится
Ну,
гард.
вот так справа сыграть, но...
Там еще надо поймать.
Я так сыграю тогда.
Options here are
Мне нравится гард.
guard it, defend your stone, or
25-26, да,
they
Лёв?
also look briefly at making a play on the Canadian rock in the 8-foot
Сейчас
circle.
нормально по линии было. Да, я побольше счет ставлю.
I like the guard.
Well, you just got that, the result off the Canadian one, and put a guard out in front. Try and take advantage. You're in a position now where maybe potential for a steal.
Certainly a good chance for a force. We call it a force when you force your opponent to take one point. Glukov 59% for the game, but a chance to really put some pressure on Team Canada.
He struggled with his hits. He's had a lot of half shots, those hit and roll outs.
That's right.
Чуть-чуть вот шире. Нет, не шире, не шире. Счет даже меньше.
To block the path to their own stone. Pretty good shot. Maybe fractionally over curled.
Almost the same spot, eh?
Well, Mark will try and rebound after that one, didn't?
Yeah. He could hit the outside of the top stone, drive it on the red stone at the top of the rings, and maybe move all three.
91% coming into the second half of this game for Mark Nichols.
Big weight.
We'll just get the peel of the one. Still, Russia lying one, top 4-foot.
Well, Timofeyev now taking a look at his options. Mark Nichols a little bit heavy, I think. I mean, he wanted to make some play to move stones, multiple stones. Just goes across the top and looking from our overhead Glukov's brush. Looks to me like Timofeyev wants to hit the Canadian stone half on the inside, roll and maybe graze his own stone in the 4-foot and pop behind that stone at the top 12 and maybe lie three in a little staggered Christmas tree type formation, as Colleen Jones would say.
Is it almost one too early, knowing that if you do make that roll, Brad can throw a rocket, try and spill them all and open up the 4-foot?
It might be one too early, but Timofeyev, he's been going for it when he's had those half opportunities, and there's another illustration of it. Needs the inside roll, though. This Stone is tracking a bit. It's going to spill to the outside, leaving Russia lying 3. This now swings into a situation that's much more of a force end rather than a steal end.
Yeah, rolling to the outside, I didn't mind making the play there, but rolling to the inside, you left that big smash by Canada. This is to open up the forefoot, maybe get a roll, a mistake, and chance at 2. But to ensure that you score is the main objective.
It's important for Gushue that the Stone remains in shot rock position. He's got a fair bit of the rings to roll to. Just needs a piece of that 8-foot circle to be counting shot rock. 83% for the game so far for Brad Gushue of Canada. 2006 Olympic champion.
And he'll nose it, and he'll stay right in the top of the 8-foot. 1/3 of that Brad Gushue Olympic gold medal team is here.
It's true.
Half of it playing, 1/2 broadcasting.
That's
Back
exactly
home
right.
back in Canada on Russ Howard, who came aboard that team. You see Brad Gushue make the hit and stick here. Of course, Mark Nichols, Brad Gushue, the third, throwing 3rd and 4th stones there. Russ Howard called the game and then threw 2nd stones, but
It's Jamie Corab and Mike Adam, the other members of that Canadian gold medal team from Torino.
last stone, Alexei Timofeev.
Wants to stick around, does not want to leave just 2 stones in the ring, so it's absolutely a forced situation now. Canada will have to take a point. No chance of a blank here.
Well, the decision if you can play the hit or if you play the draw.
Slightly awkward angles. If the Canadians nose hit the shot rock, Russia might still steal a point. Have to be really unlucky for that to happen, though, if you're Team Canada. But facing some pressure here.
Yeah, the first real end where he's been under duress a little bit. Brad Gushue trying to get his team with the final shot, score a single point. Well, actually grazes up, and it's going to be a steal of 1. So it's a 1-point game now, 5-4. Canada leads Russia as we're through 6 ends in the 3-6-1 World Men's Curling Championship.
Его тоже очень прямо шел. А он тоже подкинул. Чуть подкинул, и он почти не валит. Борты вот здесь могут прямо.
Но у меня больше будет болеть, потому что он как-то под закрытием.
Тебя свалил вообще как-то.
Да, я под закрытием это делаю, а он это вперед делает.
Он чисто.
Да.
Он этот видел, как 2 раза вообще.
Лех, чувствует. Да, стоит.
Вес надо, вес что-то не
Очень большие, да.
вообще
Ладно, нормально.
3 минуты, мужики.
Welcome back inside the Orleans Arena at the 361 World Men's Curling Championship 2018. Canada 5, Russia 4 after holding a 5-1 lead. Russia's taken 2 and stolen 1, and all of a sudden, Luke Coley, we've got ourselves a ball game.
Surprised. I was actually shocked that Brad didn't play the draw. He's a guy that trusts his draw weight all the time. With the front end he has, is never hesitates to do that. Hasn't thrown one in a bit, so that might have been the factor. But he wasn't an easy hit. He had to make sure it curled enough, and it didn't. And an unforced error.
Yeah, definitely. And great situation now for Russia. The later you get in the game, the closer the game is, the more uncomfortable Canada will get. Canadians would never admit it, but they would have walked onto the ice tonight thinking, we're the defending world champions. This Russian team went 0-12 last year in Edmonton. You never want to say it's an easy win, but they would have been thinking, we could be pretty comfortable today. Anything but comfortable now.
Белый коснулся.
Well, at 1-point game, but definitely hasn't felt like Canada been in control. Missed by Mark Nichols in that last end. Really sort of swayed the end in favor of Russia to get that force. Ended up being a steal.
That whole end was set up by a great freeze by Evgeny Klimov, who's trying to do similar right now. They played cat and mouse around those frozen stones right through the end, and that wound up being decisive. The Russians stole the point.
There. Weight's good. We're there. Weight's good.
They just want to corner this one, just sit in front, and
Good shot, Jeff.
Jeff Walker has got his draw weight right from the start in this one.
Yeah, nice shot.
How many ends have we seen other than the first end where he's thrown into the forefoot with his first stone of every end? And it's been mint.
And with the 4 rock free guard zone, this is one of the final events that we played under the 4 rock free guard zone. The World Curling Federation is moving to the 5 rock free guard zone next season. And yeah, Jeff's been outstanding in this game. Setting the table, which is what you want your lead position to do. Get your stones in great places and good things happen. Artur Razabov. Stacking the guards. Interesting angles now if the Canadians try to clear the front. It's going to run back on the Canadian stone in the front of the 12-foot circle.
So come right around everything. Let's go out all out on the aggressive here and try and wrap right around.
And this end is not shaping up like a blank, that's for sure. Lots of rocks in play. Brett Gallant on his in-turn. What a great atmosphere here in Las Vegas, Luke. It's a tremendous arena, and what a spectacle all around the curling as well.
I know it's a little different. Some of these teams used to the championships in Canada, you had the bagpiped out and all that. They've never had the Vegas showgirls bring them out onto the ice, or a Elvis, Marilyn Monroe impersonators coming out. They did a march through the casino to get to the arena here for opening ceremonies.
Yeah, bagpipes in the casino. It was quite the sight.
And then it was John Schuster throwing out the opening stone, and his team came off the Olympic gold medal win, Pyeongchang. There's definitely a buzz with the Worlds here in Las Vegas, under the bright lights of the entertainment capital of the world.
Yeah, it's tremendous. It's such a big week for USA curling. You mentioned John Schuster just off of that amazing gold medal win at the Pyeongchang Winter Olympics, and their Team Schuster not competing this week, but here to support the Craig Persinger ring.
Definitely have a presence here as we see Russia trying to follow that one back down. Well, we talked about John Schuster, the team he beat in that gold medal game last month. Nicholas Edin playing Germany in a 2-2 game. A lot of stones again in the forefoot.
Alexander Baumann playing Nick Edin really tough in this one.
Trying to run that one back and will just roll off a little bit. It sits there.
Steal for Germany.
It is a single point. So 3-2 Germany leading after 6. Meanwhile, China, Switzerland, and Mark Pfister in Switzerland a chance here. Play the straight back. Nicky Lai's second shot. Opportunity here for Mark Pfister in his 3rd World Championship. Trying to go straight back and will stick it to score 2.
Nice.
Very nice. Not the easiest of ways to get your deuce, but a great result for Switzerland and a 4-1 lead after 6.
Russia again with a very nice freeze, causing all kinds of trouble for the Canadians. Gallant unlocking the front stones, moving stones around, but the danger stone again for Brad Gush. It was the Russian stone right in front of the shot rock. This looks very similar to the previous end. Center guard up. Sergei Glukov being asked to throw another freeze into the pile. Gonna just try and draw right in front of his own stone in the forefoot.
Just trying to nestle right in there, line up those angles.
Yeah, fraction over curled. The red stone's now pushing slightly off angle on the Canadian rock in the forefoot circle. Perfect weight though. Would have liked it a little bit further to the left to run the reds straight back onto the Canadian shot.
That's what I was thinking.
We saw this a lot last year with Brett Gallant down in the house in decision making.
Nothing looks great for the Canadians here.
Okay.
Maybe just try to get as close to nose as possible. Just change the angles using their yellow a little bit.
Did look to me like Brad was just tapping the stone in the front of the forefoot, just to nudge it forward, maybe a foot. Mark Nichols.
Whoa, Brad!
Just want to get as close to nose, chips off it, changes those angles of the reds ever so slightly.
I think he just set up a triple takeout though.
Stay.
Сильный, нет?
Yellow
Nose
onto
hit
yellow
should
onto
do it.
yellow. Nose hit would kill all three.
Хочешь поменьше на
Tap
5,
data hard, just off nose.
хорошо, можно чуть-чуть. Этот останется. 2 улетят.
Я за 50 тогда, потому что там может валить около линии.
Он не хочет сильный.
Можно и отсюда. Но мне отсюда больше нравится. Атаку оставить.
Хорошо.
На 5. Окей.
Plenty of room to get by the guard. Just hit a fraction off nose and you kill all 3 Canadian stones.
Got to throw big weight to get them all. Sergei Glukov.
It's close, Luke. Has to curl a little bit.
Try and get all 3 of these yellows, and look at them spin around except the middle one. Need to curl up a bit more.
Yeah.
Canada still lying 1.
Not a bad result for Russia. Look at the release. Glukov, just a fraction of a pop there on the release, sends a little fraction wide. Not a bad result. Would have liked a little bit more nose contact, though, as Luke said. Would have got more action on that stone that's sitting on the back of the button. Had to make a play on that one, though. Otherwise, you're letting the Canadians guard it up and lock in a pair at least. Mark Nichols trying to draw around the center guard into the front of the forefoot, wants to wrap just a corner behind that pair of Russian stones in the rings. Good looking shot here.
Wow, is it ever swinging and getting right in behind.
Very nice.
Because of the stagger of those reds, I don't think you can make any play on it.
Yeah, you're going to have to play a bit of a setup shot now and just reposition them for your last shot. Watch how much this stone curls at the last 2 feet, goes past the center line, wraps all the way around to catch an edge of the button. Great shot.
There's the thin red, the one closest, but that is very thin to make.
There's also the jump shot on the left-hand stone, left-hand side of our picture as we're looking at it. You could hit your own rock, roll it into the pile. You wouldn't do that on this shot, though. You might do that on your final stone. For me, if you're Timofeyev, you maybe make a little play on your own stone in the front of the 8-foot. Just angle tap it across the Canadian stones and then give yourself 2 options for your last shot.
Мне нравится приз, даже если я вот сюда привезу, что я ему делать?
Could make a play on the Canadian stone. If you're going to play the front stone, though, you really want to push it out of second shot position. We'll update the other scores. Germany leading Sweden 3-2. Netherlands and Korea are all tied up 3-all. Switzerland holding a 4-1 lead over China on sheet C in our feature game. Canada and Russia. Canada with a narrow 5-4 lead, but lying 2 here with last rock here on the 7th. Tough shot coming up now for Alexei Timofeyev.
Yeah, and the miss by Glukov really opened up the opportunity for Canada to get their dues back. Won't be happy with how they played in that 6th end, giving up the steal.
Not entirely sure if it's the corner freeze on the front stone or the freeze on the back stone. They're trying to get a bit of both.
Yeah, the little rub and roll off.
It's in an awkward place for Brad Gushu to deal with.
Can you nose it and get it off the back one? Do you play the steep double?
I think if you get to nose, you're jamming the Russian stone, maybe leaving it in the back of the 4-foot second shot. Maybe setting up a double on your own stones. Quick look at the coach's bench. We don't think that the Canadians have called timeout yet.
I think they were standing up trying to look at the video board, which is behind the coach's bench. So they got to stand up to take a look at the board to see if they see any angles. Of course, their game is being shown up on there this session.
Well, they've got the best look of it all. They don't need an overhead camera to tell them where the rocks are. Team Russia hanging tough. They are fighting back. They were down 5-1, and they've got the Canadians in a little bit of trouble again. Canada does have last rock.
What's he do if we right on the nose? Like, what is? Probably because of that.
So close to Mafia. Just
I like
catches a
the nose
fraction
hit.
less of the
Yeah.
top one. Yeah, the nose hit, Luke. It's not a bad shot. It just might depends where he leaves it and what kind of angle on the two stones in the forefoot. If he noses it, he might leave Timofeyev a double takeout. Lie 4 or 5, depending on where he pops the back stone.
Well, the important thing is where you leave your shooter. So
Yeah.
skip stones for Brad Gushue. 7th end. Of course, Canada plays 2 games today. They play Scotland later on tonight. Session 2. This is the only game of the day for Russia.
Right? Whoa! Whoa! Yep, 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 yep.
It does jam. Russia still line 1.
Well, they want to give themselves some options now. Make the double, be lie 5.
Yellow lie 5, and you might leave your shot sitting frozen right in front of your stone on the button as well, which would make it really difficult for the Canadians to score.
Если ролл будет, тоже неплохо будет, да, просто?
Ну так, 7-8.
Intriguing. Makeable double takeout here for Alexei Timofeyev. Has to hit right about where the brush is. Jump to the left, pop the other Canadian stone outside door.
Well, he's played well in this game. He's put his team in a position down 1. Now needs this double.
Well, it's yes, no, yes, no. They must be close. There's 1, there's 2.
Jump it over, and there it is. Kick it out, they'll lie 5.
Fantastic shot.
And I think all Gushue can do is make the hit and concede a stolen point to cut it down. But you got to make that first.
Absolutely. You float this one with any kind of weight, and you might be dropping a bundle. Right where the brush target was. Leaves the stone sitting right in front of the stone on the button. Russia's lying 5, and now Brad Gushue. Do you just nose hit and concede the 1? Problem is, if you throw it hard enough to make a double takeout, you hit it a little on the high side, and all of a sudden you're dropping 3.
Well, this weight looks like just getting it on the nose and cutting it to a steal 1. Still in control.
Nothing routine when you're facing
into
5,
the 8th
though,
end. I'll just right down, tap it back, and we'll concede the steal of 1. So it is now all square. It was 5-1 heading to the after 5. We are now 5-5 after 7. Canada will retain the hammer.
Меня что-то прям затрясло, пока я там сидел. Делаешь, думаю, посильно, давайте туда встанем, и натопчем сейчас здесь. Мне нравится 4, пускай они ставят боковой. Если они будут нулиться, хорошо, в 9-м будем форсить. Мне нравится хороший 4, хороший гард, а ошибка в начало дома.
Well, here inside the Orleans Arena, the 361 World Men's Curling Championship 2018. Luke Coley, Hans Frauenlaub, and it is 5-5. What a swing this has been after what was a 5-1 game after 4.
Yeah, a total momentum shift, and I'm going to mention something that some might consider a little bit controversial. It's a small thing, but it's a big thing. Early in the game, the Canadians were cruising. They were up 5-1. Then their fifth player came onto the ice and mentioned something about the microphones. And 3 of the Canadian players have taken their player microphones off since that point in the game. And since that little intervention, it's been going totally the Russians' way.
The focus may have switched to other things after that point.
Well, I think it's just one of those situations where you're cruising along. Everything's fine. Just keep playing. I'm not saying that caused what's happened in the game. You give the Russians credit. This player in particular, Evgeny Klinov, has made some fantastic freezes to set up the steals in the last 2 ends and has made life really, really difficult for Team Canada.
Well, his first one went a little deep. He's at 93%. Jeff Walker's been shot for shot. He's at 98%. Well, we'll slide over, keep updating as it was Germany trying to hide one behind that center line. Not quite enough. There's still enough available, it looks like, for Nicholas Adin. Try and tap the back and score 3. Nicholas, 2-time world champion. As he taps that one right through, scores the 3, and now a 5-3 lead for Sweden. After 7, Netherlands, Korea, Yabandor, the final shot here. Another chance, only single scored in this one. Looking to try and make it another single. If he can just chip that yellow one out, just chip it out across the side. And it is good for a single point for the Netherlands and a 4-3 lead after 7. And Switzerland, China. After battling back and forth, it is China now a chance to get 2 right back, make it a 1-point game. Zhu Deja has the open hit and stick to score the deuce and make it a 4-3 game. And no problem there for the Chinese. They get their 2, and make it a 1-point game after 7, 4-3. Switzerland leads. This will bring you back to our feature game on sheet D. Canada, Russia, 5-5. 4 unanswered points so far by Russia. Deuce and 5, single stolen in 6, single stolen in 7.
All the momentum with the Russians, but Canada with the last rock. For Canada, you'd still like this situation. Now we're in this part of the game where you're controlling the even ends with the last rock. So if Canada scores, if they can force Russia to score in the 9th end, they would have last rock in the 10th and final end.
Well, Brett Gallant trying to just make the little chip rolled out to the side, but it'll be in the open.
And probably 3/4 available for Artur Rozabov on his intern side.
We look at the numbers. Brett Gallant 91 to 79, but the last few ends it's been the shots that were missed.
Artur's been improving as well. His play in the second half of the game has been better than the first half.
Going to the wide side to remove this stone. We'll peel that one out.
Issue ignoring the Russian stone in the back of the forefoot is going to draw around the corner guard. Canada, no, even though they've lost the momentum, the 2-point end here would be huge. Trying to engineer that with this draw behind the guard. This one, though, is over curling, and it is going to wreck.
Well, uncharacteristic miss. Wrecks on the guard.
Good chance now for the Russians to go for the force. Force the Canadians to
Можно,
one.
конечно, сделать дабл-пил, но если мы не сделаем, ничего получается.
Ну да, останется гард боковой.
Мне вот так нравится, да.
Хорошо, мне тоже.
Полка
Пускай
не
бьет.
открыто, да?
Looked at the front stones, briefly considered the double peel, but
Помнишь?
coming around them now is absolutely the right call.
Посматривай.
Just want to be top part of the house, though.
Yeah.
Don't go too deep.
Half around, front of the white 8-foot circle.
Полка не открыто, идеально.
Get a chance to look at the time as well. We've seen throughout 14-5, 14-7 to the T line.
Yep.
Линия хорошая.
This one's got plenty of weight. 13-7, that should be enough to get it into the 4-foot area anyways. Coming to rest. Full 8-foot,
Well, see, maybe slowing down just a little bit.
maybe a hair. It's getting later in the game and down the slide path. The pebble wears down a little bit later in the match. Makes the rocks travel a little less freely. Important shot here for Mark Nichols. Canada still thinking two, but now we've got 2 Russian stones in the rings.
Hard, Brad! Hard! Hard!
Great looking line. How's the weight?
Well, looks pretty good. They keep a good angle on it. They get second shot.
Very nice shot by Mark Nichols. Galantin Walker just guiding this stone into corner freeze, the Russian stone. Just popped off at just a fraction.
Well, look at the comparison. It was a slow start for Glukov. Mark Nichols, though, a couple of mistakes of late. Dropped his numbers down to just 93.
Yeah, I saw earlier in the match that Glukov was at 59, now he's at 68, so he's had a better second half of the match as well.
After that, trying to peel these corners, see if they can carry him in. Will make it, but slide right through past everything.
No more guards.
Это не так сложно, оказывается. Оказывается, не так сложно.
Got a little bit of action on the stones. But
Freeze the back one. Freeze the back one.
Canada has the yellow stones, they're lying one.
No, I was thinking just freeze. Okay. Okay. Thinking like good board. You want to? Okay.
I was just figuring out the weight to play. I wanted to try and roll to the wing.
Yeah, they're just debating the weight. Heard Mark Nichols say board weight. It's throwing it hard enough to hit the boards at the far end. So just a control weight for takeout.
Well, they want to roll away.
Not a small roll, but possibly a chance for the Russians to make the double and stick around.
Even if you don't, is it a bad thing?
It's
And
not
a blank in the end?
It's not awful. You're taking the chance that Canada would prefer not to blank this in. You'd rather score, but if it's a choice between scoring one and blanking, I'm sure that Brad Gushu would blank the end and keep the hammer into the 9th inning. If you manage to keep your stone in the rings, though, Luke, it absolutely keeps the force on. But to make the double takeout and stick around, it's going to have to be super precise.
First of Skip Stones.
Not laying a brush to this one. Catches it thin and jams.
And kills their own. So Canada lies 1, and deuce is still on for Team Canada.
Yeah, that changes everything. Now Brad Gushu can absolutely think about scoring 2.
We see advantage on this Skip Stones. Obviously with the 2 steals, it means misses from Gushu.
That's right.
Timofey, 89%.
Just a shade higher than this one. Like split the tee or bite it.
Gushu wants his stone right on the tee line to the left of our picture to lie 2. Make it an impossible double takeout for Russia.
Low line.
Oh, they want this one even in the rings.
Jeff's in. Okay, then
It's a newish path for Gushu.
don't
He's usually
look at
throwing
it.
them into the 4-foot area. Now he's drawing away from the 4-foot area, but this stone will come up a fraction deep. Wanted it right on the tee line. It's
Is
a
there an
tempter.
angle?
It's a tempter. You're going to be hitting a stone anyways. And you're worried about giving up 2. So you're going to see Glukov looking at the angles. I think it's there. Have to throw it really hard.
We have seen him throw.
He can throw it really hard. There's no question about that.
We've seen that already in the game. Need to be accurate with this one.
Yeah, it has to hit about 3/4 of this one with big weight on the inside of the target rock.
Well, got to catch the first one. Catch it, jump it over, make the double. Won't be able to. Just too much of that first one.
Yeah, just a bit thick to make the double takeout. It was going to be a tough. It was pretty flat. It's probably just there. I think it's a situation where, you know, that turn choice there as well. I think sometimes you throw an out turn there and maybe get a bit better angle on the contact. But regardless, it is an open hit now for Brad Gushu to score that important 2 points and, even more importantly, right the ship. It's been leaking in the last few ends. And this can get the Canadian boat back safely in the water.
So final stone here, the hit and stick. Team Canada to score a deuce, their 3rd multiple score of the game. As you see the Canadian and Newfoundland contingent following this Canadian squad, 7-5 lead after 8. Well, the Canadian side taking on Russia, and they have the upper hand now, as you see the 3 crooked numbers on the bottom of that scoreboard. It's what you want to do with the hammer. They've done just that. They've been happy there, other than those 2 singles stolen. 7-5. Canada leads. Luke Coley, Hans Frauenlab, proud to bring you the 361 World Men's Curling Championship from Las Vegas, Nevada, USA.
Opening day here at the World Championships. First session. There will be 20 round-robin sessions through the week. Each team will play 12 games. Top 6 will go on to the playoff phase.
Yeah, it's a new format. It is 1 extra game for the teams. You see different format in the playoffs, so it changes things a little bit. Some people like it, some don't. It's the new format, and I love it personally after seeing how the games went at the Women's Championship just over a week ago.
Yeah.
It's lots of fun late in the week, and you get 6 teams out of the 13 that make the playoffs. It's good for the teams. More teams in the playoffs, the better.
Well, I agree, and it's also pure. You get to the playoff phase, and it's pretty simple. You win, you keep going. Just as it is in so many other team sports. You get to the playoff phase of the tournament. Win and advance.
Jeff Walker, first stone in, the corner guard out in front. Canada would love a force. Steal, they just don't want to give up a 2 or more. They haven't given up more than 2 so far in this game.
Yeah, for Alexei Timofeyev, 2 would suit him just fine. If you're Russia, if you can get to the 10th end tied, steal the 10th, you win the game.
Well, 2 perfect stones from Jeff Walker.
Yeah, Jeff's had a very nice game.
Well, continues to put up the numbers that he's used to playing at Canadian Championships, World Championships.
Jeff was very, very close to qualifying as part of the Canadian mixed doubles team at the Olympics. Did very well in their mixed doubles Olympic trials as well.
He was playing with his fiancée, Laura Crocker. She'll be getting married in May, so it's a busy spring.
It's good planning for a curling couple. Get through the competitive season first and then tie the knot.
Well, and his fiancée actually had to find a different partner for the Canadian Mixed Doubles Championships going on right now, because preoccupied playing with his men's team.
Yeah, you can only be in so many places at once.
You're seeing that now, a little bit more teams having to change in the mixed doubles, because a lot of teams trying to play that as well as team play. You see Brett Gallant.
Nice clear.
Of course, he was close as well, qualifying for the Olympic Winter Games in mixed doubles. He's playing with his girlfriend, Jocelyn Peterman.
There's Jeff Walker making his way back up the ice. And mixed doubles made a fantastic debut on the Olympic program in Pyeongchang.
But Brad Goucher was the closest of all the Canadian member of this Canadian team, losing the final to the eventual Olympic gold medalists, Caitlin Laws and John Morris. See, Razabov looking to play the hit on this. Got to make sure you keep your shooter.
Chance to make the double, just runs it straight back. Leaves his own stone in front of the Canadian stone. Eminently raisable. Goucher is going to ask Gallant to clear into the corner guard again.
And they play this different than some teams might try and slash this one in. They play to catch it thin and have their shooter go into the house, so then you don't bring in the potential double jam, but that also is a factor, playing it thin.
Yep, you play it thin, and sometimes you step up the weight and it goes right by. Seen that a couple of times from the Canadians here in the first draw.
Just slides by. Doesn't catch anything, so.
Now's the chance to use that eminently raisable shot. About 4 feet straight back for Artur Razabov. Good looking shot here. Gets a bit of separation, and Russia's lying too.
Very nice. Still have the corner to use.
And a corner guard that's possibly usable later in the end. Watch the contact point, just a little bit across the nose. Sends it across the face of the Canadian shot. Getting that separation. No serious chance for a double takeout here for the Canadians, so they're going to make a play on the shot rock. This one's really moving as well.
Well, now to roll up for Mark Nichols, uncharacteristic for Canadian third. As we'll look over Netherlands and Korea. It is a chance here. Make the double, Kim Chang-min. Make the double takeout. Get your one. Game of singles. Looking to make it 8 straight singles if you can make the double. Look at that. Nicely done for the Korean skip. Gets
Beauty.
the double. And it's 4-4 after 8. Well, China, Switzerland, and looks as though a bunch of stones behind the tee line. Mark Pfister trying to draw down. A little tap. Punch it through the hole, score 2.
Bad angles.
So Mark Pfister just trying to come down. Even if he taps it on the nose, he gets 1. You know how important it is scoring in that 8th end, especially tight games. Here really got to hold it. Chip, roll off, touch their own as well.
Wow.
Deadly result as it rolls away.
Steal of 2. Steal of 2
Looks like
for
a
China.
steal of 2 for sure.
Wow. Just that little bump and roll away. And
So a 5-4 Chinese lead.
Glukov heavy with a draw. So Mark Nichols now. Chance to take the 2-point end completely out of the equation. Well, not completely. There's still a corner guard here for Russia. But an unfortunate miss by Sergei Glukov. There's a great chance for the Russians to set up a deuce.
I still have a chance as Mark doesn't quite roll into the rings.
Yep. Still a chance to use that corner guard now for Russia. Glukov with a shot at redemption here. Threw it through the rings on his first one. He won a silver medal at the World Junior Curling Championships.
Линию сдать можно. Очень много линий, очень много линий.
Sergei is from Sochi.
Очень много линий.
That World Juniors was held in Sochi. Test event prior to the Winter Olympics there.
Очень много линий. Давай, 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 давай.
Давай, 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 says Team Russia. That means go fast.
До конца, до конца. Я чуть больше подставил. У тебя
Good
тоже
weight.
свалил, вот здесь
Not sure
прошел
he's got
побед.
much cover behind that corner guard, though. Hiding a corner, but should still be available for Gushu to make a play. There we see a corner hidden. Brush position telling us it's just going to be gentle weight, maybe hack weight. Just enough to push the Russian stone out of the rings. Like to roll the shooter a little bit towards the 4-foot circle, take the action away from the guards if he can. Job 1 though, get the Russian stone out of there.
Well, up to the sweepers here, just using them to guide this one right down.
Oh, very nice stone by Gushu.
Just made that look so simple, just nice and smooth. Sweepers didn't have to do much, and it is line 1.
There's a smile from the skipper.
Well, this is all about the sweepers and knowing the weight.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Nichols reading the line.
Yep.
Even a cheeky, tiny outside roll. Very nice shot.
Well, that's a team that is very comfortable with their roles on the team, what they're doing, marking the house, knowing the weight and calling line. Right up there, probably one of the best vices in the house. He's been in there for a number of years with Brad and knows his release inside and out.
Exactly. I'm just going to say that. Luke has seen a lot of stones come his way from Brad Gushu over the years, no question. Great chance here, though, still for Timofeyev. To draw around the Canadian stone in front of the rings. If you can get some protection, still a chance for a 2 here. Stone's got a lot of curling to do, though. Miles by the guard, not even close to it. Great weight, but wide open.
Well, we'll slide over, take a look. Germany and Sweden. Alexander Baumann and this German rink trying to tie things up. Sweden got 3 in the 8th. And has the hit here, have to avoid the jam in the back to keep it in play. Manuel Walter, Ryan Sherrard on the sweep, right past that one and get there too. So they're all square coming home. Sweden has the hammer.
Alexander Baumann hanging tough against the 2-time world champion from Sweden. Speaking of hanging tough, Alexei Timofeyev and his Russian team have been hanging really tough against the defending world champions from Canada, Brad Gushu.
Well, and when you think about their game last year, it was an 11-3 game.
Yeah, it was a demolition job, to be fair.
And Russia didn't end up, it's a different team here this year. Obviously, Timofeyev is skipping this season. He wasn't last year. He was just the 3rd.
Just giving the Canadians everything they can handle here in Las Vegas. Gushu makes the nose hit. This job done for the Canadians. They're going to force Russia to score 1. And that would leave Canada 1 up with last rock playing the 10th end. That's a very good situation to be in. But the Canadians have had to work for it this afternoon. Well, plenty of room past the guard. Yeah. Has to stick around, though.
So, final stone here, 9th end. 7-5, Canada lead.
Pretty good looking shot.
Nicely done. Just well managed, cleaned up right into the house. So Russia gets their single. It's a 1-point game. We will head to the 10th end from Las Vegas and the 3-6-1 World Men's Curling Championship.
I don't think they're going to be scratched. What type of weight do you want? What type of weight do you want? Like, I don't think they're going to be very lively. Like, I think you can probably feel. Like, yeah. I think once it gets over here, like
4 feet extra than you.
I'll look at all 4 sheets in play. Here it's session 1. Down to the 10th end in most of the games, including our feature sheet. As it is Evgeny Klimov starting it off for the Russian side. Down 1. They need to steal 1 to tie this game up. And right now, you go all out. Doesn't matter if you give up a score of 4 or a score of 1. You will not win.
Big mistake here, though, by Klimov. If you're looking to steal the end, it's fatal to throw the stone in the rings. That's no protection of the free guard zone. Gushue can immediately hit the rock. To steal, you're trying to stack 2 guards. No chance of that for the Russians.
Well, and Jeff Walker with his first hit of the game.
He did make a double takeout a bit earlier, Luke, but yeah, that's a second hit for Jeff, and that's pretty nicely made. But Walker's had a fantastic game. Klimov trying to set the guard now. Crucial that this guard gets set. Problem for Russia now, because you can't stack 2 guards. You're really gambling, and Timofeyev electing to set a very long guard, hoping that Walker misses the tick and maybe you can set your second guard behind it. It's a good call. The stone is still in the free guard zone area between the rings and the hog line. Walker can position that stone, he can bump it, but he cannot move it all the way out of play. You can see Glukov standing in the wings ready to sweep the stone. He'll sweep his own stone to the boards if he can. If the Russian stone goes out of play, it comes right back on. Gets the contact. That is letter perfect.
Not just gets rid of it, but the shooter goes off. Well, it doesn't quite hit the boards. It almost did. Spins back at the end.
That's a very nice shot. Very nice shot.
Some teams will play that really quiet. That one, you throw enough weight that it's going to move it a ways if you hit the right angle of it.
Yeah, that's now the signature shot at the lead position. If you can make that tick shot, we call it, late in the game, you can really take your opponent out of the end.
Well, 9th end, Netherlands, Korea 4-4. Javandor facing 2. And looking to draw in and get the single point. Has to get this one into the 8-foot in order to do that. It's only been singles so far in this game, but
Glasbergen and
trying to just drag it as much as they have, and they will come up short.
Ooh,
This looks this steal of 2 for Korea. The first deuce comes via the steal. So 6-4 after 9 there. Slide over, and it is China line 2. Forced position against Switzerland and Mark Pfister. Pfister has to pick up a single point to tie this game up. But had control in this game. Actually hasn't ever trailed until after the steal of 2 and 8. Is to tie it up and send it to 10 all square. And no problem there for the Swiss. They will tie it up 5-5 after 9.
Center guard now. No free guard protection anymore, so it's bombs away. Brett Gallant. This will be the Canadian strategy for the rest of the end. Anything that's impeding a pass to the 4-foot, Canadians will try to clear it. Leave the 4-foot and 8-foot circle open for Brad Gushue. hopefully have an open hit or an easy shot for the last to clinch the victory.
Хорошая линия.
5-6.
Well, you're hoping for a mistake as we're halfway through this 10th end. 7-6, Canada leads.
Только вес.
This is where we'll see the experience of this Gushu rink. The strong teams, even if they've had some wobbles in matches as the Gushu team has had today, when it's winning time, the really great teams seem to rediscover their focus and find ways to close it out. Switching to the out-turn side for Nichols this time after an in-turn earlier in the game generated a miss. No problem there.
Broom down the center, try and bury one, get one in behind.
Sergei Glukov.
Пока сам ждем.
Линию тоже ждать можно.
Линия готовься.
Да, только ты.
Heavy with a draw in the 8th end, or 9th end rather. Really important this one stays in the rings. This one's really starting to dive now at the end.
It's a great come around to that wide guard.
Very nice shot.
Glukov able to make that one.
Very nice shot. Glukov and Timofeyev looking on. It's fully buried behind that guard.
Yeah, and the thought, do you peel the corner or do you draw in behind?
Well, yeah, it's interesting. After clearing guards all in, now Nichols being asked to draw into the rings. I don't think Russia will mind this too much.
Look at the numbers there. Good numbers for Mark Nichols in this one. If you play this, if you make this shot, you're probably not going to be facing 2 with your last. If you peel, you might be facing the potential winning points.
Yeah, that's a way to think about it, Luke, but I guess the other way, the reason I said the Russians wouldn't mind. At this point, with no guards around, I'm just trying to keep rocks in play and do something, and this stone of Nichols goes all the way through the rings.
Gets into a different spot. It's a little bit quicker going to the wing.
А потом пойдем начало.
Canadians have last rock here in the 10th end. So despite that miss, 8-foot circle, most of the 12-foot circle, the blue circle, wide open for Canada. So it's definitely not panic time by any means.
Alexei Timofeyev.
Любой гард нужен. Пятый тоже хорошо.
I think Alexei is just choosing to set a guard. Then he leaves Brad Gushu a choice. Clear the guard, go around the guard, try the same shot that Nichols tried.
Now like you're playing the peel and you're trying to run it onto that one on the side of the house.
Yep, Mark Nichols eyeing up the 2-for-1 from his target range. I think the interesting shot choice for Russia, if Gushu does not make the double here, is where do you put your next one?
Well, you probably go to the other side and force a draw for 1. Or
I think you'd want to make your opponent look at a shot that if you missed it, chance you could lose the game. So it'll be in the ring somewhere. The question's where.
well, Brad's had a couple of misses in the middle part, 2 straight steals. And here,
Just
we'll get the one off the side too. So no chance of lying the points to win the game.
Very nice shot.
Very ho-hum.
Yeah, routine. 15-foot angle double takeout. No problem.
Teams these days are expecting to make these and make life difficult on their opponents.
Just got enough. Almost blew it across the top. Didn't need to move that stone very far. So now for Timofeyev, it's really the same shot that Glukov made 2 stones ago. Duck it around the corner guard. Force Gusher to make a draw and hope he misses it. And that's what you're thinking if you're Russia. It's curling away from the rings. They need to get a piece of the rings to
get
force
the
it.
house, and it doesn't look like it will, so that will over-curl, and will mean Canada gets the win without their last.
So it is victory for Canada. Gusher not having to throw his final stone. Nice weight on that shot by Timofeyev, but it over-curls. It is Canada 7 and Russia 6. Had to work for it, though. Russia gave them a real battle. There we see another final, another team that had to work for it. Sweden, 6-5 winners over Germany. Nicholas Edin, 2-time world champion, opens his account with a win. Tough one though. Alexander Baumann and Team Germany played really well. Kim Chang-min for Korea. Drills it. Score of 2. Or Lang 2, rather. Done what he can. So an almost impossible final shot coming up for Jaap van Dorp. Needs to make a double takeout. Flat cross house just to force an extra end. This will have to be thrown like a heat-seeking missile to have any chance. Oh, so close. Great try, but it's victory for Korea. Kim Chang-min. Netherlands scores a point, but Korea take the victory. First up win for Kim Chang-min. Acknowledging the crowd here at the Orleans Arena. Nose hit. Mark Pfister. Needed a little bit of cover behind the guard, but Team China clearing the path that they hope is the path to victory. Open hit for the win. Pfister can only look on. Scores are tied at 5. Zhao. Nose hit will win them the game for Team China. Setting the rock, making sure that the automatic hogline detector is properly set. Last stone on its way. Chance for the win. Clean is a lovely thing to hear as a sweeper. That usually means the shot is made. Made it is. It is victory for China. Last shot takeout. Nicely delivered by Xiao Dejia. China. 6-5 winners in this one. Autographs for the fans. Canada 7-6 winners over Russia. Some photos to remember. Here in Las Vegas, the 361 World Men's Curling Championship. Seventh end. Chance here for Alexei Timofeyev. If he can make a double takeout, can make really difficult for Canada. Oh, very nice shot there by Timofeyev. Russia's line 5. So it's damage control time for Canadian skip Brad Gushue. Has to concede a point. Makes the nose hit, but it's a steal for Russia. After 7, it's tied at 5. 8th end, last stone for Gushue. It's an open hit this time. Chance to score 2 and grab control. They led this one early. Russia tied it up at that 2-point end, giving the Canadians a 7-5 lead. Canada lying 2. No choice, but a nose hit for a single here for Alexei Timofeyev. Makes it, keeps Russia in the game. Canada leading 7-6. And in the 10th end, Canada runs Russia out of rocks to claim a 7-6 victory over Russia. Looking across our Session 1 matches, Sweden 6-5 winners over Germany, Korea 7-4 over the Netherlands, China 6-5 winners over Switzerland, and Canada 7-6 winners over Russia. Canada, China, Korea, Sweden, all on 1-0. Italy, Japan, Norway, Scotland, and the United States yet to play a game. Germany, Netherlands, Russia, Switzerland, 0-1.
Congratulations, Brad. Always nice to get that first W.
Yeah, certainly it was nice to get the win. It wasn't a great performance by any of us, but the ice was tricky, and really we spent most of the game just trying to figure it out. And yeah, it was just nice to get the win. It wasn't solid, but the win's a win.
And you get that 2 and 8 after the steals. Was that a turning point of the game?
Certainly, you know, after we gave up the 2 and then the 2 steals, it kind of felt like it was slipping away a little bit. And we didn't have a good read on the ice. We were putting the broom in the wrong spot, or I was putting the broom in the wrong spot on a lot of shots. And you know, to get that deuce kind of put us back in control of the game and felt like we were going to win after we made that. So, yeah, I think once we get a couple games under our belt, it's not that the ice is bad. It's good. It's just it's different than what we play on in a lot of arenas, and it's just a matter of getting a couple games under our belt to adapt.
And talk about being here in Vegas. How much fun have you guys had? Obviously, just after one game, the opening ceremonies and everything that's gone about.
Yeah, it's been fun. You know, for us with the 4.5-hour time difference, that was the biggest adjustment. So we've been trying to get caught up on some sleep and get synced up to the time down here. And we had an opportunity to enjoy some of the things that Vegas has to offer. But you know, for us, we're trying to play our best here. So we are pretty focused and pretty disciplined in doing the right things.
Congratulations, best of luck.
Thank you.
That'll do it for the opening round match here at the 361 World Men's Curling Championships from Las Vegas. On behalf of our whole team, I'm Hans Franlab. Thank you and so long.
Давай.